Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Reality 101. My name is Dr. Molly.
And I'm Dr. Rule.
And if you're listening to our coverage and our analysis of Married at First Sight, Nashville, season 16, episode 17 and 18. And we're so glad to be back. It's the end of the semester. And so
It's a busy time, but we're so happy to have a double episode for you. So stay tuned to hear. Also, I know that this is a super boring season. And so let's be honest, do we really need to listen for an hour about an episode where really nothing happens? Maybe the double episode format is better for everyone.
I totally agree with this. I think we're going to have a serious offline conversation after this because there's not enough that happens. But we have been talking about it on social media, and we also talk about it in our Patreon. Our Patreon, if you're interested, is patreon.com/RLTY101. And you can join one of our tiers and you can be in the classroom more intimately in a non-creepy way with us and our conversations. And we're also on social media.
Of course we are. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Our handle is at RLTY101. And as always, we so appreciate your engagement. We want to hear what you have to say. And we also love your support of Black and Indigenous feminist scholarship. So with that said, should we just go ahead and jump right in?
Let's jump right in because there's just nothing to talk about.
Now let's jump into a shallow pool.
A very shallow pool. So I'm officially correct. I had a very droll weekend last weekend, and I watched the first scene of every episode this season, and it is in fact Chris and Nicole. When their relationship becomes more solid after the weddings. They start us off with Chris and Nicole. They hit us with Gina and Clint, and then they bury Shaq and Kirsten and Eris and Jasmine because that's where the drama is. And I realized they're trying to get us to watch for at least the first 40 minutes before even a scene happens.
Look at Dr. Molly doing research. This is research. Coming with the data.
This is research in the humanities, okay, people? Supervised by me and only me, no oversight. So we know it's right, okay? And no, we can start with Chris and Nicole. It's just, we're at the final, what is it, the final day or maybe final 18 hours at the couples retreat that I still want to go on. And all we catch is just kind of them bickering a little bit more or her expressing her anxiety over where they're going to live after decision day. I have nothing else to say.
They're still in Gatlinburg. Okay, this is episode 17. They're on the Gatlinburg getaway. It's the latter half of the couples retreat. Right. And what happens? The most interesting thing that happens is that Chris and Nicole go to breakfast in weird dinosaur suits. Nicole, I feel like we have to say this every episode. We like Nicole, we support Nicole, we want good things for Nicole. I would not have been as generous as Chris. I would have not gotten in that dinosaur suit to just go upstairs and have breakfast. I'd be like, okay, now pull yourself together.
And these are the things he's doing on camera. And really though, and so what is happening off camera? And she does, kind of attend to him having compassion fatigue for her or him just being overextended. Yeah. But I really think that it's not today and it's not tomorrow, but in a year, he's really setting himself up for a breakdown because it's just all about her, man. It's just a lot.
I was literally just going to say, don't say she's a lot.
Am I too much? Pineapple.
Relationship is a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And he even said in hindsight, he wishes that he hadn't put it on. But that's also, again, it's about production. And I know that's an edited interview, but I just wanted 2 more sentences. Why did you do it? Or what would happen if you didn't?
Right. Right. That's what I want to know too. I mean, he appeases her, whatever they come and eat in dinosaur outfits. I don't know. Maybe they were like, we need more screen time. Let's just do something. But I don't think so. I think Nicole really wanted to. That's her sense of humor.
Totally, totally. And you know, in the after party for episode 18, when Keisha Knight Pullum's husband is on there with her, he says, you know, very sagely that marriage is in the small things. And I'm like, if but marriage can also be undone by the small things. And so if he is wearing this dinosaur costume and a kind of like, you know, anger or like resentment, those things are really going to build up. It's just going to be a huge mountain.
We do get a little bit of Nicole, you know, meeting Chris in the middle, let's say, when again, there's like literally nothing to talk about here. But when she gives up some of her pineapple decor, that was a win for him, right?
Oh, I like that moment as well. And I mean, I guess we can also talk a little bit about his meeting with his brother, and then that's in episode 18, and then in episode 17 when they do the mini golf. And I'm going to go on record, students of Reality 101 and Reality 101 universe. I fast forwarded through the scene. I was like, I am not watching this lady throw a fit. I cannot relate to this. I would say I'm a competitive person in a lot of respects as well, but I would never need like my husband to talk me down from playing putt-putt.
No, I agree. I don't want to say she's a lot, but it was too much. I mean,
okay, you know what?
Are we just gonna switch our vernacular from a lot to too much?
Dr. Rule has her thesaurus out.
I'm gonna say it again. I like Nicole. I want good things for her,
Yep.
but she's not necessarily the person who I would want to pass all my free time with.
We all want good things for her. We all want it. It's just, yeah. And so here we are. He meets with his brother in episode 18. He says things like, you know, before she knew for sure that he loved her, that she was a little bit more anxious, and now he can feel that, you know, because the commitment is more material, that she's feeling more calm about the relationship. And we also see her, you know, call or FaceTime her dad, who also continues to be like a really sweet person, I think. Yeah, and he just reassures her that, I don't know. What does he reassure her? I don't think they talk about anything.
No, he's just like, I love you. When you call, I am here. I am a great dad. And yeah, I like that's really nice.
It's nice.
It's nice.
There's nothing else to talk about here. Shall we move on?
A final note about them. Chris's brother is a life coach. I was intrigued by that. That was one of the most interesting things that happened.
I know. I want
to know more about you. Life coach.
I wanted some more, interesting nuggets from brother Chris, because he was quiet the whole time and I wanted some like good insight.
Yeah, like how did you become a life coach? What is your life coach advice? Does the brother get different advice than the life coach? I was gonna say patients, that's not the right word, clients. Yeah, also like, I don't know, does he qualify as another expert?
I think that's why they didn't give him any airtime, because the audience would quickly see that he's been given more minutes than Pastor Cal this season, or better advice than watching Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
We'll get to it, folks. We'll get to it.
Chris and Nicole.
Chris and Nicole.
Whatever. They're gonna stay married. Maybe they're gonna have a little fight. They're gonna stay married.
Yeah, I think that they drum up drama for them in the next time on, and then, you know, we never see it. So
like so many things.
Like so many things.
I see it.
Okay. So should we move on to something a little more interesting, like Clint and Gina?
Ooh, okay. Clint and Gina's segment really picked up these 2 episodes. Again, they are on this couple's retreat. We saw Clint with you know, the Mr. Couples Retreat pageant look. That was in the previous episode that we covered, but this is on the far side of that. So they also had his birthday party, and a major point of tension, it seems, is that Gina was very disapproving of how intoxicated Clint got at his birthday party. She was like very irritated that he was hungover the next day and that she had to help him like get ready for bed.
Okay, I'm gonna lean into this a little bit.
I don't know. I just like really picked up on that. Like, I don't know. Do you have an analysis of that, Dr. Molly, or
I
thoughts about?
do, and I'm gonna take us right to the gutter. Okay, so Gina, I've noticed Gina is one of those, she's so non-confrontational that she brings things up in front of other people so that she can have other people hold Clint accountable for things. And what happens is that the things that she needs him to be held accountable for, not always, but often, are nothing burgers, and there's nothing there. So what happens is that it looks like she's just tactless, and she just brings things up out of turn in inappropriate mixed company, leaving him blindsided, and then her feeling no one listens to me, or I still can't talk to Clint, and I'm embarrassed about it. So now I'm going to be defensive when Clint confronts me about this. And now I can say we're not interested in each other and we're going to get a divorce on decision day.
Yeah, I mean, I totally got this feeling, especially when they meet with Dr. Pepper and Pastor Callaghan, that they're just kind of coming up with reasons to not stay married, right? Like they didn't do the homework assignment of watching these emotional films that Dr. Pepper suggested to them. And I don't know, I just wanted them, I almost want them to just like call it quits now. Like, why are we even waiting to D-Day if you're effectively saying you're not going to stay together? I don't think it was kind of teased, like maybe they're going to suddenly have sparks fly. I don't think that they will, but it was kind of sad, and I actually forgot how affectionate they were toward one another actually on their wedding day.
Kissed.
They kissed
several times and I forgot about that. And
I did too.
It was really sad to me when they're like, oh, I guess we're just in the moment. It was really weird. They're like, yeah, and other people's expectations. That was really weird to me.
I almost kind of didn't believe it.
Hmm.
I mean, I have long held that I think that Gina and Clint are actually into each other. But they had this mishap on their honeymoon that just sank the ship for both of them.
I think Gina doesn't know how to deal with transgression, sorting things out and then moving forward. And I think she is also so crippled by what people think and perceive of her that she doesn't want to take him back because she knows she's on national TV and the white feminist Illuminati are going to be like, you better not take that man back for policing your body size. And so I think she becomes almost like arrested.
Yeah. I think that she either, right, something like that, or maybe they just don't know how to forgive one another.
Yeah.
Which again would be criteria for not being married at this stage in your life. If you don't know how to forgive and forget, I think that's a staple in a partnership because nobody's perfect, right? Issues come up all the time. And again, they went from this like extremely, I don't know, extremely, but appropriately, affectionate, kind of intimate, into each other vibe to just like a 180 black and white, turn off, no-go zone. And ever since then, they've maintained like, we're friends, I like them, we have fun together, but I'm not attracted to them. And I think that's fake. Again, I can see it in Clint's eyes that if Gina said, I think you're cute, he would make a move and they'd be on.
I think that they had a behind closed doors conversation about how, I actually think it's from her just saying like, this ain't gonna work out, but I want to stay on here to promote my something. And let's just pretend like we're doing something because you cannot tell me for 8 weeks or whatever, however long this is, even though they drill it into us every episode, that you are still doing interviews saying, we're really just trying right now. And we're just trying to try. what does that mean? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
But
And that's what I'm saying. Like they've given up trying to try when they admit that they're like not watching these movies.
yeah, and I think that I did yeah, okay, I should really attend to that. I think they're all getting bad advice. I think that this is a flawed experiment, but I also think that the experts could hold them accountable a bit more. And I appreciated that Pastor Cal was like, "You don't think your lives are compatible, or like your goals aren't compatible?" Because he's absolutely right, they are.
Yeah.
But also, I felt like he gave Gina an out when Pastor Cal said, "Oh, so like basically he clarified, like you don't feel like he's making you into a wife because what is it? Because she doesn't he would make those meals anyway. So why it's just that he's making them for her." I had a hard time putting myself in her shoes for that one. Did you, or like how do you feel about that?
I mean, I understood intellectually what she was saying, right? I mean, effectively, what it boils down to is she's saying this is something that is sort of service, right? To a relationship, but it doesn't count as service because he's not suffering or sacrificing. This is something he enjoys, therefore, it's not really an act of service to me. And I think that's where it gets really unfortunate because, of course, I think in a healthy relationship, you would want to strike that balance where nobody is really suffering or there's not a strong sense of self sacrifice, but rather that you have a meshing and a balancing together of your lives, right? And Clint, let's say, is in charge of cooking food for the household, but he's happy to do that. And he likes to cook for other people too. And he likes to cook for himself. I mean, I would say that that's a good thing, but she's not counting that as something that's demonstrating love or affection toward her. Again, I think because it's not hurting him. I think that's really unhealthy.
It's an unhealthy notion of care.
Yeah.
And we once again have to say thank you to Gina for illuminating the gendered politics of all of this, because what she's describing is reproductive labor and domestic labor within the household, right? Of which we could total the amount of that feminine embodied people labor per year of reproductive labor and how it goes unpaid, right? Throughout the lifetime, it'd be like several $1,000,000. But if the roles were reversed and a man, or Clint said, she'd be making meals anyway. That's not thank you to me. That would be outrageous to say.
Somebody has to cook, so we have to eat, right?
Yeah, we have to eat. So it's not a thank you. I'm out running a business all day and I come home to food. So what? No. Or, this ongoing kind of like ha relationship about how he is Hank, her dog's favorite person, and they all like to pretend like their pets are their kids. So I'll play along with them for a moment. But he's like, I'm with Hank all the time. He's taking care of her dog when she's working all these late nights. So Clint's running the house.
Right, right. And Gina isn't taking a posture of, oh, I appreciate Clint's caretaking of our family dog because now we're a family and we're married, right? She's reading that situation of in a way that says, well, Clint likes hanging. Wow, I'm getting totally tongue tied. That Clint enjoys hanging out with Hank. Therefore, like the contribution element is null and void.
Null and void. And I mean, let's go down the list of things that she says about Clint, right? That she doesn't like. She
Yeah.
says, this person that's kind of the life of the party. That's something that you should be, but she doesn't find it necessarily attractive. She brought up the cooking thing. What else is it? I guess those are the only two things that I wrote down. So that backfired. I was going to go through a bulleted list. So you escaped this time, Gina. But the only time I think that I'm proving my own conspiracy theory wrong, right, about this being fraud, is that he then has a really genuine reaction in these conversations where he's like, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
And I agree, like, can she not open her mouth, like, to
Yeah.
mention these things or say them? I think that she is on a very material level, like literally not available enough to have a marriage. And I also think she's not available at all emotionally to have a marriage.
Yeah. I could feel Clint's sense of hurt and betrayal specifically when she said that she felt secondhand embarrassment from him. I mean, he just did that like sharp inhale, like hurt him. I could see it on his face. And then of course when he did the interview, right, he was like, where's this coming from? But I will say though that I think that sense of like secondhand embarrassment is not compatible with the friend zone either. I mean, I don't feel secondhand embarrassed about my friends, right? I love and care about my friends. Like something like that feeling of secondhand embarrassment that Gina's referencing, for me, tracks much more closely to being like totally repulsed by this person she's married with. So that was a little bit inconsistent. I don't know if she was exaggerating or overstating really how she feels, or if she's been exaggerating and overstating the extent to which she likes Clint all.
Yeah, I think she got the ick a long time ago. And yeah, I mean, I think you're totally right to pick up on the effective demand, right, of his body when the face that he made, like, and his face kind of got red, and the embarrassment that he showed was the same when she called him a ginger. Like, I think that he thinks that's really embarrassing. Because to my earlier point, when he brought up that thing about her being like thick or whatever he said, not as athletic or whatever, trim, slim, he was simply regurgitating a conversation that they had previously had. And so I think a lot of people like that watch the show on Reddit and then who are also on Instagram are very right to point out that she actually probably didn't have a problem with that comment behind closed doors, but when he regurgitated it, Nicole, grabbed her pearl, and then Gina was like, oh shit, I should be upset about that, right?
Nicole, stir in the pot.
Oh God,
All up in the middle of everything, Nicole.
Yeah, I have thought of like 20 different little miss for Nicole. Little Miss can't keep her nose out of other people's business. Oh God.
Nicole.
But I mean, I know. And so now we know it's just that they're spinning their wheels. She wants her airtime. I think that he was into her for a couple of weeks. And, next time on, they show us that whole thing about McKinley sliding into her DMs happened. And I'm interested to see where that goes because Clint had genuine rage about that. And so that tells me he was hurt by all of this. I'm guessing she kept it a secret. I can't wait to see.
Okay. But before we even get there, right, in episode 18, McKinley comes back. We see him. He's in the gym with Clint. I had so many questions. Like, was he brought in just for this segment? Is he still living there in the building? Like,
why does he have a different haircut?
Why, right? And yeah, so they're just having like a casual workout, and the production team is acting like we have not, like they're just acting like this is a natural transition, when in fact we haven't seen this dude for like the last 15 episodes or something. I mean, it was just weird. Like they didn't even do the build up. Like, I don't know. I thought he was gonna like appear in the doorway and then it was gonna be like, McKinley is back on the show. It was just like, oh, here you are, bro. Like, I don't know.
I wonder if anyone has contacted Dom or if anyone's still friends with Dom.
I don't know.
Because she wasn't part of like the group, I don't see her fitting in anywhere. She was so much younger than everybody else,
Ooh, careful territory, Dr. Molly. Don't call her immature.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh, we only both got married when we were 25, so I guess I have nothing to share, Dom. I am you, sweet Queenie. Okay.
But right, so like they're working out and McKinley just starts talking about, I don't remember if it was in his interview or if it was to Clint. I think it was in the interview where he just starts talking about how he is attracted to Gina, how he wishes he had been attracted to Gina or married to Gina, how they had some type of chemistry where they both saw each other. He definitely said that he thinks that she thinks that he's attractive.
Do you think that's true?
That she really thinks he's good looking?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think so at all. I think she'd
No?
be into dark hair guys with big dark like beards. I think she's into like tall white guys and like
Like
that
the lumberjack
exactly.
aesthetic. Yeah, I don't know. I I really, we know she's not into redheads. That's all I know. But okay, this brings me to another point, which is then Gina and Clint go to the barber shop and get Clint's haircut. Again, all the questions. First of all, why did Gina not cut his hair?
I don't know. I mean, sometimes like if she's like, I don't do men's cuts. I mean, like, you and I are very good fans, or we're big fans of Jonathan Van Ness on Queer Eye, and Dr. Elizabeth Rule is on a few of those episodes on Getting Curious, by the way, at Getting Curious, JVN on Instagram. But he often will bring in other people to do like men. No, actually, that's not true. Sorry, they are their pronouns. They don't do men's cuts, or they do men's cuts, but they don't do certain like other things I've noticed, like sometimes color jobs. So I wonder if it's just not Gina's wheelhouse.
To do a men's cut. But she like specifically said though, didn't she, on previous episodes that she would cut his hair?
Listen, yeah, and she's had all these ideas for it, and then when it was time for Marlon to her proxy to say like, what do you want? She's like, oh, I don't know, whatever you think is best. And my friends of the podcast, this was a trim.
Okay, it was, and honestly, Clint would have been better off just doing the man bun. I don't
Totally.
know why they had to cut his hair.
I mean, there's always something about getting rid of those split edges. However, all I saw was a deep conditioning treatment. That's really all I saw. That's what I saw, proliferate. But
I thought that the man bun look was better than the short hair look. I think he only cut his hair because Gina wanted him to cut his hair. And then she didn't even do it. I'm starting to feel bad for Clint.
you don't? Why not?
I am. I'm starting to
Oh,
feel,
you said you were starting to feel really bad for Clint. Okay.
I think that's the only reason why he did it, is because she has just tarnished his self-esteem with his 8-year long untouched hair.
I want to know some more tea on her. Like I'm excited for the season to end because I feel like he has some receipts on her. And he gave us a little bit when he was like, you're on your phone too much. And I was like, yeah, I bet she comes home and sits on her phone. And that's where I think where in lies, or that's maybe where his astonishment at her saying that he hasn't made her feel wifely, because he's like, yo, I'm cooking dinner and you come and you sit and you probably sit on your phone the whole time, say thank you, and then keep it pushing to your room.
Yeah, to your separate room. Right.
Okay, in a perfect world, or if you were an expert, what would you prescribe to these two? Would it be you need to sleep in the same room, like Dr. Or Pastor Cal said, or what would you recommend?
Mm, I don't know. I would almost want to send them like back to a honeymoon style like vacation, and by themselves. I think that they are heavily influenced by the group. Um
Mm.
Again, like I think that's why kind of what you were gesturing to earlier, Dr. Molly, about like I think that maybe Gina's ego was hurt about the comments he made about her body, and that's why she's had this kind of hard line against him. And similarly, I think that perhaps the comments that she made about his physical appearance, are hurtful because they were publicly embarrassing, or maybe they drudged up some childhood trauma. But I think if maybe they were just alone with one another, and couldn't get distracted by Nicole stirring the pot and McKinley trying to hit on Gina and all these other weird things, that maybe they would actually be okay, because I could see a world where they would be fine. I see why they were paired together.
I see why they were paired together. I think the whole world can see it. Usually when couples don't have chemistry, I'm like, I see this. Like, again, they're so different. What were they thinking? The experts were going on vibes alone. But I think that, he's exactly what she needs in like 2 years when her business slows down.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think she'd be ready then either.
I don't I think she definitely does not need to get with McKinley. McKinley is like the opposite of what she needs.
We're both entrepreneurs. Like, okay, bro. I mean, you gave some really great advice to them. I was going to say something like a shroom trip together. I was also going to say something that they should bang it out. I mean, really though, I think that they, my Redditors, my fellow Redditors, you guys, Dr. Rule's face just got so red because she's like, great, now we're endorsing drugs. But
no, not endorsing drugs.
You're like, no, I wasn't worried because we're not. But I think that, on Reddit, everyone's always like, there's one panda couple. There's always one couple that we're rooting to bang. And as we have mentioned, that not a lot of people are having sex, or that hasn't really been as much as a focal point and the season. And I just really wonder, I actually think my theory holds true. I think that Aries and Jasmine will have sex before the end of the season. But I think that if Clint and Gina, they should just try, or just they've kissed, can't they just like make out or take a shot and go hold hands, put on some sexy music?
That's the baffling thing. Like if they had this narrative, this is why I don't believe them. If they had this narrative that, oh, I'm not attracted to him or her from the beginning, and they hadn't had any physical chemistry at the wedding, I would say, okay, all right, maybe the spark is just not there. But I saw the spark in the flashback footage from their wedding. They were into it. Their eyes like were happy when they saw each other at the other end of the aisle. They danced, they laughed, they kissed. I think they just got mad at each other and have not been able to move forward.
I don't even think it's him. I think it's just her. I think she just got mad at him. I totally agree with you. I was also wondering if there was a from the Atlanta season, Jacob, the guy that's like 39 or whatever, and he was obsessed with the 80s. Remember he and
Yes.
yeah, they had sex the first night and something happened that they never disclosed, that like she got the ick. I was wondering about that maybe. Like were they trying to make out and then Clint made it goofy and then she got turned off? Almost like a Mitch and Kristen. Is that her name too? Kirsten from the San Diego season. Remember they like made a pause on having sex because Mitch, the environmental dude, was being all creepy during sex.
I don't remember.
Oh, I'm like an encyclopedia over here. Don't ask me what I have due on Monday, but I will know these things.
Yeah, Gina and Clint.
Oh,
shaking my head.
shaking my head.
Clint to please kiss Dom.
Y'all, it's gonna be the most boring episode or scene. I know it. That's how they're going to play us.
Yeah, I'm ready to get there.
Wow. So should we move on to Kirsten and Shaquille?
Yeah. Their segment was okay. What do you think?
I actually don't have a lot of nice things to say about Shaquille.
Yeah, actually, again, it was that behind the scenes. It was the behind the scenes camera footage. The apartment cam.
No,
Shaquille, what was that?
I am going to intellectualize his behavior and explain it away for everyone. But I also, if it were me, I'd be like, this is messed up. Like, you don't get to do this. So, where do we want to start with this? So, Shaq talks to his brother, or excuse me, we're looking at 17 and 18. So we have Kirsten talking to her brother about Shaquille and how I was like, good for you, girl. She wants him to meet her family. They talk about daddy. How daddy don't know anybody or don't like anybody. And then what else?
I mean, that's it. They go to church. They talk a little bit about their spirituality as it relates to their marriage. It seems like they pray for their marriage, which is not doing well. And then, we get this behind the scenes. It's all about the apartment cam for them. I wanted more, where they came with the receipts. This is the kind of content that would have made this season better. If it was like every time somebody came with some nonsensical claim against the other person, if they showed the receipts with the apartment cam, that's a show I would like to watch. And that's why that's all I can remember about their segment across these 2 episodes is what Kirsten says, I just feel like you don't want to really engage with me. And up until this point, we had been Team Shaq. We've said that Kirsten was the one that shut it down in the beginning. Now he's shut down. And then we really saw what the shutdown looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it was not pretty.
Okay, so I'm going to speak to multiple audiences here. For my woo-woo friends, I think Shaq has a lot of Aquarius placements. But for my non-woo-woo friends, I would say I think that Shaquille is still struggling with some undiagnosed or diagnosed depression. And so we saw that, or he talked about that a little bit in other episodes. And, you know, on Black women, there's a report that was recently released about the number one symptom of depression in Black women is not feeling sad or tired, but rather feeling and looking irritated.
Mm.
And yeah, and I think when, you know, we put these pieces together about Shaquille not feeling supported, or he's just, you know, balancing a lot of plates, I think Shaquille probably works for 12 hours a day plus, comes home, and she says he comes home late. And he comes home, and I think he is so overwhelmed. And he's a grown man, so he should know how to ask for space. But I don't know if he knows how to be like, no one can ask me for one more thing. I need an hour.
Mm.
I don't think he knows how to do that, because we see it, and she's like, "Can I make you something to eat?" I'm fine. Like, I don't think he can engage.
Right. It's like he doesn't have an ounce of energy left to spend. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good read. And I could see then how Kirsten is feeling sort of rejected or, you know, pushed away by him, because right, like he's not there to engage with her. And right, like maybe that's because he has some struggles with his mental health happening. Maybe it's because he's truly overworked. Maybe it's a combination of both. And maybe it's all of those things or a combination, plus the fact that he really truly is actually irritated with her.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, the last thing when he gets home is like, oh, you know, and this is bothering me too, or like, you know, and here we are back again, and this shit is happening. I don't know. He says some really great things though, you know, as per usual, when he talks to his brother, who's really sweet, by the way, and he says he's only at a 6 or a 7. He says they're growing, but he doesn't know if they're growing together. And it's important, again, he reiterates it's important for him to meet her family, because he's like, am I going to feel awkward being around them when you're not there? Am I going to feel awkward dropping our kids off to their house? And so he brings it up to her again, you know, what's exactly the reason that you've been waiting to introduce us? Because I think they said they had like 3 more days or something.
Yeah, I think it was like 5 more days.
So
less than a week.
Yeah, now that I didn't really think about that. Can you imagine waiting 6 weeks, basically 5 days before the experiment, and then, oh, my brother couldn't come?
No, right. And this is where I think, I don't know if there's something going on with Kirsten's family, that they are really unsupportive or really detached or disengaged, which I think, you know, like she can't control them, okay? But she can control the narrative that she provides, right? And I think truly, if it's the situation where she would like them to be involved and is open to having them being involved, and they are just shutting that down, I think that her responsibility is going to be to him to relay the fact that, hey, I would love to introduce you to my family. I would love to have this vision where you get along with them. However, I can't control anyone but myself. They're not willing to engage at this time. I'm sorry for that. Please don't take it personally. I would like it to not affect us. I'm happy to talk with you about this. I just want you to know what was my role in this and their role in this and your role in this. But it seems like she's almost behaving in a way that's trying to protect their behavior, but I think that that's coming at the expense of Shaquille feeling rejected, or at least on the back burner.
Yeah, and she's not picking up, she doesn't have the maturity to understand what pain she's causing, I don't think.
Yeah.
I also was picking up on, I think there might be just a little bit of dysfunction in her family that she doesn't
Yes.
want to be aired. I think, there's somebody that doesn't want to be around somebody else, or, and she's just, I don't think there's a lot of cohesion there, which is fine. I don't come from a very cohesive family either. I'm just saying, like, I think appearances are really important to her. That's been very clear. And I don't know if she knows how to talk about that. But again, that is a closed door conversation. And then she'll say to her loving husband, so can we let this go on camera? Because I don't know how to deal with this. And then it would be done.
And I think that he would be receptive to that.
Yep.
I think he would say, again, I'm projecting, okay, but if I were Shaquille, or based on what we've seen of Shaquille as an extremely family oriented person, I imagine that his response to that would be, oh, wow, that must be really challenging for you. My family doesn't operate that way. And I could imagine, how it would feel if I didn't have my family be as supportive or engaged or whatever in my life as they are. Yes, I am happy to do what I can do, but I also respect and understand that, everybody's on their own journey, and I'm happy to meet you where you are. Like, I get the sense from Shaquille that he's not into perfection, he's not into appearances, he's into the growth model.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like she's not being vulnerable enough to show him that she's growing or allow herself or their marriage to grow, because she
Yeah.
wants it to just be perfect already, which it's not.
I think you're totally right about the vulnerability and just saying, like you said, I'm so excited to be part of a family that is cohesive. So let's focus on growing yours. Like, that's what we're going to do.
Right.
Our family doesn't really do this type of thing anyway.
Right. Not, again, sort of like, we don't know, right? At this point, we don't know, like, what's a lie, what's the truth. Did her dad have COVID? Was he scared of COVID?
Yep.
Did he just not want to come to the wedding? Like, this has been going on.
Yeah. Remember, he didn't want to take a COVID test. And I was like, COVID
That's
test,
what it was.
sir, just the test.
Right.
But there's these glimmers of intimacy though. Like when they opened up, I was like, oh, Shaq's hot again when he was putting her shoes on for her. And I was like, he's so sweet. Like,
Yeah, before church.
yeah, I just think he's like a sweetie. So I think that there's intimacy there, but he's frustrated, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't mean sexually. Like, I don't know about all that, but he's frustrated with the behavior, with the stagnancy, and he's not very happy.
No. I mean, they're not gonna make it. There's no way.
No, I think they're going to have him answer first, and he's going to say no. Yep.
Feel embarrassed and rejected.
Yep.
Okay. Eris and Jasmine, our final couple.
I think there's a lot of stuff here too. What do you think?
Yeah, probably more content than ever before. They're turning a little bit of a corner. So again, in Gatlinburg, he has to leave early for work. He misses her, she misses him. They independently tell this to the cameras. Good,
But not to each other.
but not to one another.
And what else? So he leaves. Yeah, like you said, she's partaking in all of these outdoor activities.
Right.
And apparently her butt looks good as she's climbing the pole. And everything, it still revolves around, I wish Eris was here to see me be sexy. I wish that I could prove to him that I'm good at this. I wish that I could prove to him that I'm adventurous to do that, and it's funny because, okay, so what did he say? Like, he wants her to keep expressing. He loves that. He thinks that she's her best version of herself when she expresses herself and is forthcoming, and she does pole dancing. It's just like all of these sexualized scenes.
Yeah.
Weird. And it's all about getting Eris to like her. And everyone keeps saying, oh, I wish Eris was here to see how like motivated she is. Why? She ain't got nothing to prove to him.
I actually had the same exact thought, Dr. Molly, when she said, oh shoot, I just totally lost my train of thought. or when he said something like, you're your best version of yourself when you're like keeping me in check or putting me in my place, or, you know, being this really like kind of like straight shooting person, right? Who doesn't hold anything back. And I don't know, I thought it's kind of a weird thing to say, because what if that's not actually her personality? Like, what if she doesn't want to be that direct? Like, that's okay. Maybe that's just what you like, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best version of herself.
And he makes it even more complicated when he's like, I'm turned on by women keeping me in check. So is this all about her just appearing to you sexually, or
Right.
what
Right.
is this about? I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I think that there's still an undertone of Eris and his sexual desires, and about him being pleased, but also he turns a new leaf for me. And I guess I'm playing into that narrative too, because I'm like, I start to like Eris more because it's clear he's getting turned on by her.
Interesting.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of it is just so manufactured, right? Like, so Jasmine and Gina go pole dancing, and the whole thing is that our husbands don't think we're attractive, and therefore we're gonna go like
Uh,
explore our own sexuality and feel sexy by doing pole dancing. And they do that, and they seem to have like a fun friend time afternoon, right? Doing this, taking this dance class. But then like obviously production is like, yeah, Eris, you're gonna want to see this. We also brought you a stack of money. Like that man is not walking around with that cash.
yeah.
You know, they were like, let us pull up a chair so you can watch Jasmine do this dance and we can stylize you throwing some money on her. So that's kind of a weird spectacle to me.
It was weird. It was manufactured, and this show is so boring. I mean, they're making up these random scenes, and like they're not even cohesive. I don't.
No.
I'm sorry, Lifetime, but I mean, we're all really upset about this. This show sucks right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Dr. Molly, I mean, do you think they're gonna make it to D-Day based on what you're seeing, or is that still off the table?
I still think it's going to be a victory that I think that they're going to have sex. I actually think that she's going to say no and he's going to say yes.
Ooh, plot twist.
Mm-hmm. What do I?
That's a good one. I just, I mean, I really don't know. I really don't know. But at this point, I kind of feel like they're not good for one another.
Okay, I think that that's a smart answer. Yeah.
Yeah, because again, like we need to stop and back up and remember that just because they say yes on decision day does not necessarily mean that it's a great, healthy, functional relationship
No.
either. It's just what I keep hearing from Eris is, I don't like you, Jasmine, the way that you are, but you've gotten the notion over the last couple of weeks about some things that I do like, and I like you when you do them, which is different than liking you for who you are.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, they experiment with some of these sex toys or whatever. I think he likes his beat. Think he likes beat. I think there's just things that they're trying to intimate about Dr. Rule. There's just things they're trying to they're hypersexualizing Eris. They always do. You know, everything has to be about sex with him. And I know we're doing similar things, or at least I am. But I don't know. I do see chemistry there. Like when I see them in the bed and she's doing this type of feather stuff, I think there's no way they're not in bed like making out at night.
Mm,
I thought they had a lot of chemistry there, but
yeah, and maybe they do. I don't know.
yeah.
He's hard for me to read too. Like his sort of like deadpan affect,
Mm-hmm.
flat affect is hard for me to read.
If I can just take a crazy turn, I want to do a quick analysis of the tarot reading that they did.
Oh yeah, okay, please.
Yeah, so I do tarot cards and I'm really into astrology, obviously. But Okay, so first of all, what we saw was she was doing cards, but she was also doing a mediumship and she was doing a palm reading. So she was doing three different things. But the cards, I've never seen a spread like that. So, but every tarot reader does their own thing. So I don't know what spread she was doing. I wish I would have heard more about what they thought about the reading because she's crying. Doesn't she start to cry during it? I don't know. Like she gets really emotional. I don't know. I just felt like this woman was sounded so rehearsed and it sounded like she was an actress.
Mm.
It's not that it was bad. Everyone has their own tendencies, but she just seemed really weird. And didn't they have her on another season?
Did they? I don't know.
It's super familiar.
Really? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. That was not really analysis. I basically just recanted what happened, but I don't know. I was glad. I loved my weirdo representation.
Yeah, but you have some insight into this that I think not everybody has. So
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know what else about them. What happened? Nothing.
I think that's pretty much it. I mean, again, not the juiciest season of Married at First Sight.
Hell no.
Double episode. Ugh. Yeah.
I guess, I can mention that there's a couples cam, I guess there's a couple cam, like kind of like not series, but where are they now coming out, in a couple weeks. And I know some couples that everyone's curious about are going to be on there. I know Karen and Miles are on there. Jamie and what's that woman's name from North Carolina? Elizabeth. And they just announced that they're getting a divorce, by the way. So they announced that a couple days ago. So lots of people who are on there, well, not lots, I should say, just Beth and Jamie have been confirmed that aren't together. Although a lot of people think that Karen and Miles aren't together, so I don't know. Interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. How many episodes are left? I mean, this was 5 days to D-Day. We have got to be nearing the end.
Okay, my beauties, we are going into June. We're going into June. I think there's 2 more episodes, and then D-Day is split into 2 episodes, and then the reunion is like first week of June, and then second week of June is the like where are they now? And then they're starting a new season July in the teens, 18th maybe.
Okay, so there are 6 episodes left.
How many people we're gonna be talking about, y'all? That's why you need to be on social media. You need to be on Patreon. Like, please give us something to talk about. We're desperate.
Please give us questions to answer.
Provide content for the love of God.
Also, you can let us know, should we cover the next season, season 17? Do we want that, or are we done with Married at First Sight?
That's a really great question, because I will not cover another season like this.
No, this has been really long and drawn out. I mean, it has been okay. It's always fun to come on here, talk with Dr. Molly, cross-reference, but I mean, y'all,
No, I'm about to pull a Mariah Carey and sue Lifetime for wasting my time. It's a wonderful precedent, legal precedent that will yeah.
Let us know.
Let us know. We're here for you.
Yay or nay.
Yay or nay. Or please no. But like I just mentioned, we are on Patreon. You can join our conversation in our classroom and our office hours and seminar at patreon.com/RLTY101. And we are also on social media.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You can find us there, follow, chat, send us a message, leave us a comment, give us a like, share it out to your friends. You can find us at RLTY101 across all the platforms.
All the platforms. And so we're excited to talk with you more. I think we're going to put up a poll. Just, are we covering it next year? And I'll leave it open until the end of the season so we can all have educated answers. But other than that, everyone, we'll see you on social media, Patreon, and please check out our episodes of 90 Day Fiance the Other Way and our new episodes of Love in Paradise. Yeah, season 2, because
season 3.
Oh, sorry, three. Yeah, season 3. Oh, season 1 was so good. Season 2 was good too.
Season 3, Love in Paradise. It is here and we are covering it.
We're covering it. It's gonna be our coverage is obviously gonna be better than everybody else. Everybody. Please tune in because the first couple episodes are going to be on our free feed and then they're going to be behind a paywall on Patreon. You'll have to join one of our tertiary tiers. Ooh, that's a cute word, tertiary. And yeah, we'll see you there. Dr. Roll, do you have anything to add?
Just that class is dismissed.